Hey everybody, welcome back to the Halo Minicast. We haven't done this in literally a year. Do you even remember that this show exists? Probably
Took a
not.
long time to finish Halo 4, man.
It's the longest game I've ever
This
played.
is the
It was like
longest
six
Halo
Elden
game.
Rings.
Yeah. It just kept on. We had to finish all of Spartan Ops.
Oh, that would take a year.
That would take a very long time.
I'm Jake. That's Jonathan. We're playing the Halo campaigns and then we're ranking them and we're talking about them for like half an hour to an hour. Only the campaigns, multiplayer notwithstanding. Maybe one day we'll talk about multiplayer separately. Now, here's the thing. When we got on to record, Jonathan and I both realized that we did not record a podcast for Halo Reach. So this episode is about Halo 4, and then we'll do Halo Reach again someday, because that's my favorite one. It would be a shame if we never talked about it.
Maybe we'll do it at the end after we go through after we do all the, the Chief games, and also ODST is in there, but we'll go through the numbered ones and then Infinite, and then maybe we'll finish it with Halo Reach.
I would play Reach again for that.
I'd play Reach again. I have fun with Reach.
We did play Reach like almost a year ago at this point, though. How did I not ever notice that we didn't record an episode?
I have no idea. We must have planned it, and then something must have gotten in the way.
Yeah, that's wild. But sorry about that. To refresh you, so it's been a year. I think it's worth looking back at our last episode, Halo 3 ODST, uploaded to YouTube. Let's see, when was this? I don't know, April 5th, 2024. So just over a year ago.
Damn.
Our ranking so far: in first place, Halo 3. Second place, Halo 3 ODST. Third place, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. And fourth place, Halo 2. Which sounds fucked up, but I know how I felt back then, and that feels right even now.
I don't remember putting Halo 2 below Halo Combat Evolved, actually.
We did, and it was like a surprising moment of kindred spirits where
Cooperation.
we were both like, I don't want to say it because I'm worried that the other person's going to be mad at me for saying it, but I kind of like Halo 1 more than 2, and then we said it and we were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That is how I feel.
I think the problem was that Halo 2 is just a lot of crazy things going on. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, and it's not as charming as the first one, I would say, but
yeah,
it still holds up.
It has much more annoying things than the first one, I would say, for sure.
And I don't know if this is a tease for this episode, but it certainly will be a tease for Infinite. There's 4 games on this list. There is one at the bottom, but none of these are bad games yet. So even if you're looking at that and saying, oh, they put my favorite one in last, it's still a fantastic game that we enjoyed a lot. That will not be the case for the entire franchise.
And it may start today.
It may. So Halo 4, let's talk about it. When did you first play Halo 4?
I played Halo 4 probably on release. That was my shit.
I did as well. That was the first collector's edition game the first collector's edition game I ever bought with my own money. I did get some Pokemon special stuff before, but November 6, 2012, there I was in the GameStop, jittering with excitement for this game. And I really thought that I was going to love it more than all the other Halos that I had played up until that point. And even after I finished the first mission in the campaign, I knew that I did not.
Oh man. I don't know. I didn't. I've only in this recent playthrough am I noticing the really the really strong, significant flaws of Halo 4. I think.
So this is only the second time I've played it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I played the campaign not all the way through, but just jump in and play a couple rounds for a while. So I'm pretty familiar with it. But this is only the second time I've played it from start to finish, and I think I enjoyed it more this time than I did back then. But back then I just remember
my least favorite time ever playing it. I played it maybe 5 times.
You just hate me.
No. I think that the modern Halo games are very moody and do not actually benefit from having more people. Except for Reach. Reach was fun because it was a big war zone, but like Halo ODST and Halo 4, I think, and we'll get into this later, but I think they both have the same issue where multiplayer kind of actually takes away from the story that they're trying to tell, I think.
Maybe. Yeah. I feel that. I mean, multiplayer was always such a huge part of Halo, even from the very beginning. So it's not like they can lean on that to be like, hey, we're making a multiplayer Halo game that has a campaign. Because its predecessors were Halo games, meaning multiplayer and campaign.
I mean, I don't know. It's just like Combat Evolved 2 and 3. The multiplayer is very seamless, almost like you're supposed to play it with other people. But I am not. It's a different design philosophy these days. I think for these types of games, it's just a completely different way they have designed the game and what they're trying to do. But perhaps we should go into more broader terms of what Halo 4 is before we get into more specific criticisms, I think.
Sure.
I mean, Halo 4, it is the fourth numbered game in the Halo series between, after Halo 3, there's Halo 3 ODST, and then there's Halo Reach, and then there's like Halo Wars and shit, and but we're not talking about those. And then Halo 4 comes back, and after Chief presumably dies and is lost in space at the end of 3, we kind of miss him for about like 6 to 8 years, and now Chief is back. He's back.
And that, I mean, it was a big deal.
It certainly was.
I had no real attachment to Master Chief because my Halo game was Reach, and I'd only dabbled with the other ones. So this was like, but even I at that time knew, like, oh shit, the dude is back, and this is a big
John
deal.
Halo. He's back.
And debut of not Bungie. Bungie was working on Destiny at the time, which would come out like a year later, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So this was from the ground up, just Xbox paying someone else to do Halo.
Yes, and as I said before, I believe that this was the beginning of the end for the Halo series, I think. I think that the change was so significant from the previous 5 games they created. The change was so significant, and I think the quality dipped in such a way that, when 4 came out, it wasn't really that noticeable at the time, I feel like. But it's just been a dip that they just have never recovered from. It's just a dip that they've just kept going down since. And it started with Halo 4, I believe.
I do think Halo 4 is a dip. I agree with that. But I respect Halo 4 for the new things that it added and the places they show restraint to not change the classic Halo feel. Mm-hmm. Like, the sprint was clearly inspired by it being a direct competitor with Call of Duty for so many years, and I think it's a great addition. I wish there was a sprint button in all the Halo games. But then there's other things like the new weapons that they added. I think they probably went a little bit too far in the let's do something new and weird direction.
Yes.
And that's kind of the decisions that keep on rolling throughout the campaign and then throughout the series. So, yeah, it's the beginning of the end in many ways. You're right.
And we can talk about, like, the new. Like, because there is a lot of new that they really, really attempted to commit to. So, because, like, in the Flood is just gone. The Flood shows up in the original Halo trilogy, and they're just gone now. That was a huge faction of the original trilogy. That was basically the main antagonist from like the middle of 2 onwards. And it was just such a unique enemy type. Because, you had all the Covenant, and the Covenant is obviously very, very large, very diverse. Brutes, Jackals, Hunters, Elites, Grunts, all those enemies. And then you had the Flood, which was like the second half of this big roster they have, and now the Flood is gone. They've been MIA since Halo 3, since they're like canonically like blowed up, they're like dead. So now we have the Prometheans, which are these robots, right? So now we have basically an entirely new class of our faction of enemies in our Halo game. Previous Halo games, we've had two factions. We've had the Covenant. Covenant is in literally every Halo game that like makes up Halo. The Covenant from Halo 1 carries its DNA over to the Covenant in Halo Infinite. Like that gameplay design, although different, travels through every single Halo game. The Flood, of course, is the other faction. They're very important. Now they're gone. So that lineage is basically dead. So now there's a completely new faction. That's kind of a big deal, I would say. I would say that's almost akin to a new type in a Pokemon game. Like when Fairy type dropped. It's like, whoa. This is like a whole new thing that we have to get used to after getting used to like the Flood and the Covenant for multiple games. Now this is a completely new faction of enemies and a completely new, like it changes up the gameplay immensely because Halo is so ingrained in this system that they created from the first game and the iterations of that system. So now we have the Prometheans, and the Prometheans are there, and they're in the
terrible.
game. They are not terrible, but they're no Flood. And the thing, the strange thing is that the Flood really shouldn't be as interesting as they are, I think. There's really not that much. I mean, the Flood are just like these parasitic zombies. You don't really get any new weapons. You just fight new enemies. And, you know? And you fight variations of enemies you've already fought, but like floodified, like, you know, zombified. You don't really get any new weapons or anything. Halo 4 gives you an entire new class of weapons with the Promethean, like the Forerunner weapons. And I mean, you could say what you want about the Prometheans as like an enemy, the Forerunners and Prometheans as like an enemy class. Some people may find them more fun than others. I think we can both agree that like half of the Forerunner weapons are like ass, like actually kind of bad for real.
I then and now would always prefer to have the UNSC or Covenant counterpart for each of the weapons that they introduced. So regular shotgun over the scatter shot, regular DMR over the whatever light rifle, regular sniper over the binary rifle. The only one that I would ever choose is the incineration cannon because it's fucking awesome.
The incineration cannon and also I think the binary rifle, which is the sniper, are like the only two really good, like the weapons that you're gonna go, oh shit, I want this. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you kind of you're like, oh well, I'm out of ammo on the weapon that I actually want. I guess I'll use the light rifle. And then if you're really fucked, you'll use the bolt pistol or the fucking suppressor, which is so bad. The suppressor is one, I think, possibly the worst gun in Halo history. I think just flat out. Yeah, it's just so, the spread is just like god awful. It does a very low damage. It has extremely high rate of fire, which could be like really good. It could be like the SMG, but the fucking spread is so bad that I think the only way you could like it's fine if you're face first in the head of like the crawlers, which are the dog kind of Prometheans. You know what I mean? Like that's when it's fine. But otherwise, you're like, God, I really do not want to use the suppressor or the bolt pistol. And the bolt pistol has like, I don't know. They kind of go through this. The weapons could have been really, really cool, I think. Right? They could have been really, really cool. And I know that because I know they fixed it in Halo 5. I know for a fact that they fixed it in Halo 5. And they gave a bunch of weapons actual, like, real secondary fires. I believe the suppressor gets, like, a full-on secondary fire. And I think possibly the shotgun gets a better secondary fire, basically, when they didn't really have one in Halo 4. And that makes them just so... I know that they fixed the suppressor, like, immensely in Halo 5. I know that for a fact, because I do remember playing Halo 5 eons ago, like maybe 6 years ago, and going, oh, thank God they fixed the suppressor. You know what I mean? Like, you do not want to be playing a Halo game, and you're just like, fuck, these weapons suck. That's your entire game. That's your entire game.
And so that's what... So the reason that they suck is because they have no impact. All of them.
Yeah, all of them don't
except
really
the
have any
ones that
impact.
we mentioned that are actually pretty good. They look incredible. They look so
Mm-hmm.
different, and they do really interesting things with their animations. And the sound, for the most part, is also really good. But
Yes,
it's
very
not,
good sound.
good sound doesn't lead to impact. Impactful sounds are different, like the shotgun or the battle
Yes.
rifle.
And
And
it's not even
like,
like it's not a problem with the game because the UNSC weapons and the Covenant weapons, for the most part, have impact. It's just like
right?
this new branch of weapons just like they don't have the sauce to them. And it's
And
unfortunate because you're stuck using them for most of the time because that is your main opponent.
and it's just very strange because in the campaign is when you're primarily going to be using these weapons. I know you could call in like the shotguns and ordnance and whatnot, but the, the Prometheans, the Forerunner enemies, don't really react the same way that the Covenant do when you shoot them. Like when you
Yes.
shoot an elite in the head, you can watch his head bounce back. When you shoot a grunt in the gas can, it explodes and they fly around. If you shoot one of the dogs in the head, they die instantly. And if you shoot a big knight in the head, it just stays there. It doesn't move at all.
And it doesn't
Yeah,
really have a shield that you can like when you fight an elite, you're like, I am doing damage to it. I see its shield losing power. I see its shield weakening. And that's like that's a very exciting because maybe you can be in like a disadvantageous like position, but you're fighting a high ranking elite and like you're low on ammo, maybe you're outnumbered, but that shield is so close to breaking. You're just like, I'm going to make the decision to run in and try to break that shield and try to take him out, and then the rest of the enemies will scatter. You do not get that decision making, that thought process when fighting the Prometheans because, like you said, the crawlers like die instantly. There's only 3 Prometheans enemies, by the way. There's the crawlers, as we said, which are mainly, I would say, annoying because of how many that they'll throw at you, and they'll like jump all over the walls and stuff, and they'll like just take pot shots at you from a really far distance. And I feel like they can just be more annoying than they are like fun to fight. Like, group of grunts. You're like, oh, 30 grunts? Hell yeah. 30 crawlers. Kill me.
see, I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I think the crawlers are my favorite ones because they're the only enemy in Halo that you can get a one-shot headshot on. But if you don't get a headshot, you are going to be hitting them like the same amount of excuse me, the same amount of times that you would be for a grunt. So
Yeah.
it incentivizes you to play accurately and to like really space yourself well whenever those large hordes are coming at you. If you keep your distance and you use a long-range weapon, you can take them out very efficiently. But then you can also, like you said, get incredibly overwhelmed if they catch up to you, which I thought was a really interesting dynamic.
But it's also a problem, and it's like, oh, you better have a precision weapon. But no other enemy in Halo is like, you better have a precision weapon, except for maybe like hunters. Hunters used to be like, if you don't have a shotgun or like a magnum or something, like just kill yourself. But the Promethean crawlers are like, okay, you might have not have experienced, but I had this happen like two or 3 times when we played through Halo 4, where we were fighting a big horde of Promethean crawlers, and they were like a medium distance away, and all I had was a suppressor and like a plasma pistol, and it's like the least fun you could have in a Halo game.
That is true. But
Yeah.
I think a large part of my Halo experience is always maintaining the weapons that I want to use. That's like a big thing for me. I'll scout. I'm like in the middle of the battle. When you're out fighting, I'm hiding behind a pillar trying to find battle rifle ammo, and then you die, and I'm like, well, why weren't you killing?
Because I have a suppressor and a plasma pistol. Oh, man. Yeah, all right. I mean, let me also make it clear. I just think that they're annoying, but I also think that they're the best Forerunner to fight because the other two, I mean, the other one is the flying type, and I think the flying ones are probably the worst.
Yeah.
Offenders of no impact, no reaction. You just like to feel the game feel issues of Halo 4, pick up a light rifle and try to kill the flying the flying Prometheans. You're like, am I hitting it? Like, am I doing damage? Like, did I get a headshot? I have no idea if I'm doing damage to these fucking things or not. And then they like blow up and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I was. But they're just hitboxes I don't know if it's their hitboxes. I don't know if they're like surprisingly like durable or something like that. I don't even know if they have a headshot weak point. It's like, it like doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And they're very finicky to hit. They fly around a lot. They'll revive other enemies sometimes, like the knights. It's just like, oh, geez, guys.
Yeah. And I think they get spawned by the knights, and then they revive the knights. So it's
yes, and they revive the knights. Yeah.
It's one of my least favorite game mechanics where you have to fight two things at once, and if you don't take one out fast enough, it revives the other one. I don't like
it.
Right.
Yes. And the knights are basically the heavy class. You know, like that would be like your elite, your brutes. And the knights come in different variations. There's like the regular kind of knight, and there's like the heavy knight, which has like a lot of HP, and they'll have like the heavy weapons, like maybe like the binary rifle or the incineration cannon or something like that. You'll know because they'll take like more damage. But again, it's very difficult to tell the difference between the two because design-wise, I mean, they're cool designs. I don't want to let's not. Cool. They are very, very cool looking. It's actually almost upsetting that we know that, you know, these designs are going to be kind of like squandered in the future of Halo, because these are very interesting designs, very compelling designs. The whole visual design of the game, very beautiful, unlike the previous Halo games that we've seen. Not to say that the previous Halo games weren't beautiful. I'm just saying that like the actual architecture and the artistic direction they went in is very, very different. You know, with these like robotic creatures, like that's very cool. But the problem with the knights is that there's not really a strong visual indicator of the differences between them. Halo 3, when you see a brute with a brute shot, you know it's a brute with a brute shot. You go, oh shit, that's a brute with a brute shot. But like when there's a Promethean knight with like a scattergun, you don't know until it one-shots you, and then you're like, oh, well, okay. That's it. Like, I guess, you know, you don't know it has the incineration cannon until it fires the incineration cannon. You don't know that it's the more beefy Promethean knight until you're like, oh, I shot it like 8 times and it's still not dead. I guess this is the beefy version. It does not. That's the problem with the Prometheans, I think. It does not give the player enough information of what the fuck is happening. When the Covenant gives the players so much information of exactly what's happening. You just at a glance, you know what these enemies are holding, you know what they can do, you know what their shield strength is at, you know what their health is at, you know all these things about them just at a glance. You know when a hammer brute is coming at you. Mm-hmm. You know for a fact when a hammer brute is coming at you, and that is probably the best memories of a Halo game is when a hammer brute is coming at you, and it's like doing that run, and it's smashing all like boxes and shit out of the way, and you're go, oh shit, I gotta get out of the way. But like, you know, there was like 2 parts. This game is also very short, by the way. So it's like when I say there's, this only happened twice, that's like basically the only 2 opportunities that we had to experience this that had happened. We had, you know, a Promethean knight with an incineration cannon, and neither of us knew it had an incineration cannon until it like killed us instantly in one shot, and we had to reset a checkpoint, and we were like, okay, well that's the one with the incineration cannon in the back. The only reason why we know what it has is because we were killed by it, not because we go, oh shit, watch out. It's because we were killed by it.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal because the game's so short. Like that, what you're describing, dying and then coming back in, that's a lot of games nowadays, and I'm fine with it. But compared to the other games, which, like you said, you can just tell everything the second you walk into a battlefield. You know what order you want to tackle it in, what enemies you want to take on first, and you have a lot more opportunities to do so. This one, you walk in and you just kind of flail around until the deed is done.
Yeah, and it is mostly, I would say, I feel like this is the Halo game where it's lost its movement. And I'm not saying Halo's not like a movement shooter. I mean, like, there's a lot of instances in the previous Halo games where you have to move around because enemies will flank you. Enemies will counter you. Enemies will go in a formation where you will have to adapt on the fly. You'll have long-range jackals or something, and then you have like a hammer brute, and then you'll have like a gaggle of grunts, and then maybe you'll have like some of those like skirmisher jackals like flanking you in a corner, and that's very, you know, that you're adapting to what is coming at you at all times. I feel like in Halo 4, we mostly just encountered enemies, shot them as we saw them, and just moved up. And there wasn't a lot of like, oh, get out of the way, running around. It was just like, kill, move up, kill, move up, kill, move up, kill, move up. That's what I feel like a lot of our experience with Halo 4 was.
Yeah, there was a lot more symmetry in the battle arenas as well, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I like the older battle arenas that were either a lot more wide and like you said, big open battlefields, or if it was close quarters, it was kind of like them versus you, and you have to know what your terrain looks like in order to understand theirs. Now it's like, okay, well, on our side, we're up high and there's a barrier, and then it goes down in the middle, and then on their side, they're up high and there's a barrier. So one of us is going to have to go down in the middle.
Yeah.
That isn't an experience I had before.
Yeah, and there's also, it's very linear. Just many combat arenas are just corridor, or straight away, you know?
Yeah, but it has a lot of flaws, and I'm glad we're ragging on it, but I still really enjoyed the game. So I don't want to like make it sound like I actually hated my time with it or found it boring or anything. If it overstayed its welcome, maybe I would have gotten bored of it, but a big criticism I have is that the game is like 3 hours long.
Yeah, the game is ridiculously short, and it's like, and again, I played this game 5 times, and I was like, oh shit, we're at the end of the game, I forgot. It's only about 6 missions. Granted, these missions are longer. Specifically, the first 3 missions are significantly longer than many of the missions in previous Halo games, excluding that one mission in Halo Combat Evolved where you're backtracking through the snow. But the game still is incredibly short. I remember I was like, I told you, I was like, we're on the last mission. And you went, no, we're not. And I was like, if the last mission is midnight, we're on the last mission. And then it was midnight. And I was like, yep, we're on the last mission. And you were like, what?
It took us like 3 to 4 play sessions for
it took us 2.
The other
it was
Halos.
2.
This one took us 2, and the first one was like an hour.
yeah. And the second one was only like the last 2 missions. So it was like, and granted, I mean, that mission when we're on the research hub in space is my favorite mission. But like after that, it's just like, and well, this is a plot problem actually. Let's talk about this. Now that we're talking about the length of the campaign, because then we also have to talk about the length of the story. The story is weird, and I've been looking at it through rose-tinted glasses for about 10 years, because I really like what they did with Chief, and to a lesser extent, I really like what they did with Cortana, but I like what they did with their relationship. That's kind of the focal point of the game, and I was able to kind of ignore everything else about the game. Because I was just like, this is, you know, I love these characters, like I love these 2 characters, and I like this like journey that they're going on together, and like the sacrifices they're gonna make, and then this is the playthrough where I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? I kind of don't really understand what happened, because I feel like nothing really happened. I mean, we go to the, you know, Forerunner planet, and we accidentally like wake up the Didact or some shit. And Didac is like, I'm gonna compose humanity. And then we spend like the next 4 missions going like, we need to stop the Didact. And like everything we do doesn't work. And then like the last mission starts and Chief just is like, well, the Didact has gotten literally everything that he's wanted and needs to take over humanity. So now we're just gonna take a nuke to his ship. It's like, oh, okay. So no like, it's like no MacGuffin, or why did we start with the nuke plan?
So,
like we were just like, okay, we're at the end. Just give Chief the nuke, and he's on the last ditch effort. I'm like, I don't really feel like this was the last. I don't know.
I don't like the criticism of nothing really happens in X, but I have to agree with you. That is the best way to describe it here, because we kind of just end the game where we started, just without Cortana. And
That is true.
Chief has never been the most compelling character. I don't think he was the most compelling character in this either, even in the final cutscene that's supposed to be like truly emotional. I do think they flesh out Cortana a lot in ways that I liked and in ways I didn't like. But the only thing that changed in this game is that the Prometheans are awake and Cortana is gone, which granted,
Which it also isn't like true.
Well, yeah,
by the next game,
we're led to believe,
right?
And
yeah. No, continue.
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Those things are like, that's it. Because in the other Halo games, you think about it, the Flood awaken. We learn about how the Halo rings work. We learn about why they're there. Guilty Spark turns on us, and all that happens in real time, and you know what's happening, and you are experiencing these events as they unfold. Here, first off, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about half the time. They're just using a bunch of gobbledygook that doesn't make any sense. Because even with all the lore in mind, it's just words that they made up and don't make any sense.
Yeah, they're like, they've composed I'm like, what is composing? Like, what is composing? You're gonna compose humanity? Like, what are you gonna put us in like a zoo? You're gonna put her like we don't really even like, no, I'm gonna have to go on Halo Wiki and look that shit up. I don't really want to do that. I kind of want to like play my game and go like, oh, okay.
Okay, in the other ones, when there's a giant purple ship enters the atmosphere and Sergeant Johnson goes, we gotta go take down that ship! I'm like, alright, we gotta go take down that ship. In this one, you see a man ride a meatball into the stratosphere and you're like, we gotta go after him or else he's gonna get the ancient artifact that turns humans into orange data goop.
Yeah, the composer. And I'm like, what is the composer? Like, I know that the composer was the MacGuffin, right? But, like, I don't really know what it does. He just needs it. And then he gets it. And then it's like, okay, he has the composer. He has everything he needs. It's like, because that's the thing they say, like, if the didact gets the composer, it's like, all is lost. Like, I hate it when media does that. If the villain gets this, all is lost, and then they do get it, and then it's just like, it's not, all is not lost. As a matter of fact, they actually just like brute force attack the villain, and that's a problem I had with fucking God of War Ragnarok. The entire game, you're like, oh shit, Ragnarok is gonna happen, and it's gonna be fucked, and we are fucked, and then everything goes exactly to plan of how Odin wants This is spoilers for God of War Ragnarok, by the way. This is... Wait, should I not be telling you this? You gonna play God of War Ragnarok?
I really don't like God of War 4.
Okay, so well then I'm gonna spoil it. Basically, entire game, you're like, Ragnarok is gonna happen, all the realms are gonna like explode, and only Asgard will remain, or something like that. And everything goes to plan for Odin, who's like in charge of Ragnarok. He's gonna like basically cause Ragnarok to happen or whatever. And it's just, all the cards are in his favor. There's no like MacGuffin, like this will be the key to stop Ragnarok. Like, just everything happens and Ragnarok starts, and then Kratos is just like, we're just gonna have a really big war and just try our best. And then it just works. It's like, what do you mean? All the prophecies and everything the game was saying was like, if Ragnarok starts, it's gonna end with like us all dying. It's gonna end with the destruction of like all these realms, and then the prophecy happens like word for word, and then Kratos just kills Odin at the end anyway. He just overpowers him, and like, that's it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, there's no real explanation of why they should have won besides like the plot demanded it, I guess. That's a big complaint I had with God of War Ragnarok, because it was just like so much buildup. You're like, how are they gonna get past this? How are they gonna figure this out? And then they don't figure it out. They just kill him.
And that happens here.
And that's pretty much what happens. Chief just brings a nuke into the fucking Didact ship and blows him up. And I'm like, I feel like we could have just done that. Why didn't we just start with that?
Yeah, it's really not a strong narrative. I remember people always talking about how it's the first character-driven Halo that puts Cortana and Chief at the forefront. They way, way overdid it with the whole Cortana being demented thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's too much. It honestly just started to get annoying. At first I was like, oh, this is interesting. Cortana was always just kind of a Jarvis, like a fun AI that you're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's there. I like her. And now she's like a real character. And then halfway through the game, which is like an hour, every 30 seconds she's just like spitting out nonsense that doesn't make any sense and making your screen flash. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I think the game could have been longer and there could have been a more progressive change. Not every Halo games aren't really that long. Halo
Yeah.
Reach isn't really that long. Like, how many more hours does Halo Reach? Maybe 2 more hours, maybe 3 hours if you're taking your time. But the way they tell the story, that it feels like it feels like so much time passes. We see so many different events happen. So we see the transformation of this crew, what these losses of the Noble team are, and how it affects them, and how we go from the occupation of Reach, like from the very beginning of Reach, where the Covenant reach, pun intended, we go from the very beginning of when the Covenant make it to Reach to the end where Reach falls, and we get to see like a lot of time passes, and the story is able to very accurately display that, and changes in the characters and all these things. But like Halo 4 happens over the course of like, I don't know, like 2 weeks, maybe like a week. So Cortana's just like nuts from the beginning, and then like she's just gets worse as a thing. And I think a problem is that Cortana's character is almost, actually, I would say Cortana's character is like completely unrecognizable from the original trilogy. She doesn't act like she does in the original trilogy at all. In the original trilogy, she's snarky, very sure of herself, very like sassy. Like I don't even know how you would describe her, but she's very like a confident like AI robot that's like, Johnson, take us home type of, attitude type of shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like from the beginning of Halo 4, she's essentially like unrecognizable. She does not exhibit almost any of the traits of Cortana that we've known. And I mean, granted, that is part of the story. She's like dying and she's coming to terms with that. And she's very, very scared. But like that is her whole personality now. That is all we see of her. We do not see any like glimmer of old Cortana, like at all. So it's kind of like, it almost feels like a completely different character at a certain point.
Yeah. So I wasn't a huge fan of the story. I am not particularly interested in where it goes next either, because I know that after one more game, they're just going to soft reboot everything again.
I mean,
maybe that's,
yeah.
Hindsight is 2020 or whatever. Maybe that's impacting how I feel about it. But I just wasn't impressed enough with the story to want to keep playing, which is probably why I never played Halo 5 back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's completely valid, especially because Halo 5 is like, it brings in like a new, completely new series of events where you're just like, what? And you know what it feels like? And you said, I remember at the end of the credits or whatever, at the end of the Halo 4, there's a message from 343 that's like, thank you for taking like the first steps on our Halo journey, and please be excited for what we're going to show you next. And it's like, you don't really show us anything next that really has anything to do with 4 again. You know what I mean? And this happens, you're going to see this happen over the next 3 Halo games. And it's kind of like how the sequel trilogy of Star Wars was. How a big complaint of the sequel trilogy of Star Wars was that there was not a cohesive goal of where people wanted to take it and what story they wanted to tell. They just kind of made a movie and they were like, oh shit, we don't really like we don't really think this was received as well as we thought it would. Let's try something else in the next one. Instead of like committing fully to an idea, they're just jumping from thing to thing. Halo 4, like the Didac, explodes and Cortana dies, right? So first of all, the villain that was introduced is gone now. And then the thing that your game ends with a major character dying in the next game, Halo 5, is revealed to have not happened and instead now she is the villain, and it's like, but what? Like, what is going on? And then in Halo Infinite, it's like, okay, Cortana's dead for real now. Sergeant Locke and all those characters, they don't worry about them. They don't exist. It's now a completely new game. Don't worry about the Guardians. Don't worry about the Prometheans. Now we're on the new Halo ring, and don't fucking worry about it. It's like, dude, help me out here. And now that's gonna happen with the next Halo game, because in Halo Infinite, they were gonna remember they were talking about DLC. Halo Infinite was released in 2021, 2022 at this point. There were talks about this like DLC. The game ends with like, what are we gonna call it? Like, what's your name? Like, to the weapon. And then she's like, I think I have a name. And then the game ends, and we're like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to wait until the DLC to find out. They're not making a DLC. It's over.
I mean, that's a whole can of worms, and we'll definitely get to that in the Halo Infinite episode. But when you were explaining all that, it kind of helped me solidify a thought that I brought up at the beginning of this episode about Halo 4. And this is how I feel about Halo 4. Is that it is a game that is good because it is just another Halo game, but it's not great because they try to have their cake and eat it too. Everything that they add that's new is not as good as what came before, but they try to incorporate it with the stuff that is already there in a way that makes sense, so that it like tries to trick you into thinking that this is all just how it's supposed to be. All these new enemies are fighting alongside the Covenant, and when you fight them, you might not notice that they're not as fun to fight as the Covenant. All these new weapons are not as good as the ones that have already been here, but if you have to use them when you run out of the ammo you like, you might get some appreciation for them. And that's kind of the big swing I think they took with Halo 4, and I have a feeling that that is going to continue through the rest of the games of being like, all right, well, here's what we did last time. Here's some new stuff again. And hopefully you just assume that this is how it always was, and it just isn't how it always was.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like they tried new things, and you have to appreciate that they were at least trying, but it's just like, at a certain point, I wonder how much they cared.
I think
and
they
what they were thinking. I think they cared a lot, but I just don't really know what they were thinking. It's a completely different. They just have a completely different design philosophy, and I don't think they knew that.
I think they wanted to make a completely new Halo game, but they felt obligated to hold on to so much of what the past brought. And if they just copied Halo 3 with a new story, that probably would have been better than this. And if they just went all the way in everything is new, it would upset a lot of people, but it probably would have ended up a better game.
Yeah. Well,
let's talk
you're
about
you're gonna see. Yes, let's talk about things we did like, but let me just say this first. You're gonna see how new that they can make it in Halo 5, and you're gonna be like, at points, Halo 5 is like totally unrecognizable, for better for worse. We might actually have a good time playing Halo 5 because that game was made. It was made with multiplayer in mind, but there is so many things in that game where you're gonna go. You're never in a million years are gonna expect some of the things you're gonna see in Halo 5. I think just some of the gameplay mechanics. You're gonna go, what? Wow.
That is exciting, actually.
Yeah. But,
all right. Yeah. Things that we liked. When was the re-release? 2014? 2015? The re-release looks incredible.
Oh, the Master Chief Collection release?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I imagine is the same build that we played on PC. I don't think they redid it. Maybe they did. The PC version looks great, is the long and short.
Yeah, it was released, I remember, it was released on, because they released the Halo games like sequentially, I believe, like, not sequentially, but like periodically. So when the Master Chief Collection came out, it didn't have like, I think it had like the original trilogy, and then they slowly added like ODST, 4, and Reach, and 4 was released in 2020.
On PC, yeah, but didn't it get ported to Xbox like way earlier than that? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Either way, the version we played, the newest version of this game, it really, really looks good. I mean,
it does. Character
models, the world, the weapons look fucking incredible. I mean, it runs well. All these big things are happening in the backgrounds and and even like right up close and personal, and it's not chugging. I mean, it's a great game in terms of fidelity and for the time that it was made. I mean,
You
you
can
can
kind of
tell.
see some of the low quality textures when you're getting like a zoomed in, like in the beginning of the game when that elite like roars in your face. You can see that the texture is not very detailed, but other than like looking very closely on these models, the game looks gorgeous. Especially the CG cutscenes. CG cutscenes look like as good as some CG cutscenes released like today.
Yeah, locked to 30 FPS though. It's weird.
Yeah, but I mean, would you watch Frankenstein at 60 FPS?
That's live action.
I guess. I
A
guess so.
big pet peeve of mine is whenever a game runs at 60 and the cutscenes run at 30. That's maybe a Jake thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pre-rendered, so they can't do anything about it.
So I liked it. I wouldn't have chosen it, but I did like the soundtrack.
You're
It's
nuts.
it's
Actually,
insane. It's very strange. It doesn't fit at all, but I like it as music. I like it.
it's like Star Wars.
It's very Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, but like, what? How do you compare it to every other Halo soundtrack?
I mean, the other Halo soundtracks are kind of all over the place, especially the first two. Is it two where it just has that like hard rock sequence?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Well, I'm
So
not talking about that. I'm talking about. Well, I think a lot of the tracks in Halo One are real. I don't remember a lot of the soundtrack in Halo Two, but a lot of the soundtrack in Halo One is very, I think, nostalgic for me for some reason. Especially for tracks like A Walk in the Woods. Some of that more like, because there's a lot of like choirs and harmonies and people singing. Not a single choir in Halo 4. Not a single instance of really loud horns in Halo 4. What the hell?
Yeah, it's weird. It's just a lot of
we,
like trumpets.
Halo Reach didn't have a lot of. I mean, Halo Reach did have a lot of horns in, I think, some of their combat sequences. But like the main theme of Halo Reach, the beginning, you know the scene I'm talking about where it's like has like the helmet and it's all broken. It's like whoa, and like that's the Halo 3 theme. But that there's a different choir singing in the beginning of Halo Reach. It's more like haunting kind of thing, right?
And it's got a lot of like electric guitar, but playing it in a classical format. And
drums, very like
drums.
those big drums. You can imagine like a dude like 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 Halo 3 had all these aspects. It had the choir, it had the drums, had the horns. I mean, just listen to the Warthog run. That 9-minute sequence at the end of Halo 3, like that is like the pinnacle Halo music. Like that is all the aspects of Halo music bundled into one package. And there's just no aspects of that in Halo 4. And I was just like, at least give me the horns. Like, give me one
tonal shift that doesn't actually even fit the tone of the game. But I gotta admit, I liked it. It was just fun to like pep around to this like Star Warsy, jazzy type, like warm sound. It was fun.
It's just like so bizarre. I don't even remember it. So I was like, what the fuck?
Another thing I liked, the armor abilities, with the exception of the dash.
Thruster. Oh, dude, the thruster is like so dog water.
I like the armor abilities in Halo 4. I like the auto sentry. I like the shield a lot.
I like hologram.
Jetpack's always good,
I don't like them as much as armor abilities in Halo Reach though, because I feel like you are really stuck doing your armor ability. You know what I mean? Like that's my problem with the armor abilities in 4. Halo Reach, with the exception of, armor lock. But armor lock with like its own thing. You can do other things during your armor ability. You know what I mean? Like drop shield, you drop the shield, and then you're in the shield, and you can kind of like you can reload, you can recover health or whatever. The shield wall that you have in Halo 4, you're just like stuck. But like there's so much cover in that game that it's like, why wouldn't I just hide behind cover and just take shots? Like the auto turret I can see being very useful, but like everything else, I was just kind of like, damn, I wish I had Like, I don't like how it's stopping me in place to do this armor ability.
Yeah, I like the shield much better than armor lock, and that's kind of the 1-to-1 there.
Yeah.
I thought it added a different level of strategy there. Of you can take a chance with going out a bit further because you know you have a safety net. I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't need it to continue in the rest of the games, and I don't think the other games would have been better if it was there. But for this game, especially with the amount of times you're just getting overwhelmed with the bullets, I liked it.
That's valid.
Other than that, this game kind of sucks. No new vehicles.
Yeah, it's actually less vehicles too. No chopper. No brutes. No brutes.
Miss the brutes, man.
It's another thing. Like, the Covenant was in this game, which I thought was funny. And then they were like, what was it? It was like, the Covenant have we broken the peace agreement? I thought we made peace with the Covenant. And then they were like, then there was a line that's like, these Covenant are more fanatical. There's something different about them. And then we never really got any like solid explanation. They're just like a splinter group of the Covenant that are just like, yeah, we're still pissed, and we love the Didact.
And that's just another example of them like feeling like they had to incorporate what came before them, because they end Halo 3 with Chief lost in basically another dimension for all intents and purposes. Nowhere to be seen, not to be contacted by the UNSC. They think he's dead. The Covenant are not a threat anymore. We start up Halo 4, instantly shooting grunts, and then, like, second mission, UNSC ship shows up and just acts like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of, like, oh, we're stranded here. I mean, Halo Infinite does a much better job of being like, oh, we are fucked. Like, the very beginning of the game is Chief, on that ship, and he gets, punched really hard in the head. He floats out into space, and he's out there for months. And then, the pilot picks you up, and it's like, we lost, dude. Like, we're all stranded on this new ring. We lost. We are the, we're like the stragglers, basically. And that's kind of the story that they were kind of trying to tell in Halo 4. It's like, oh, we are so out of like, our element. Because, in the beginning of the game, they're like, do not go near that metal planet. And, like, Cortana's like, talking to Del Rio, and she's like, Captain, do not go near that planet. And then you hear Del Rio, like, the garbling on the microphone, like, blah, 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 go near the planet? And she's like, no, don't go near the planet. And that's basically what happens. She's like, we can't hear you. We're going to go near that planet. And Cortana's like, no, please. And it's like, oh, come on, man. And then we're just kind of like, we have that giant ship. We have the Forward Unto Dawn. It doesn't really feel like, oh, we're screwed. Like, oh, we're all alone in this, like, edge of the universe. It doesn't really feel like that. I'll give it a Halo Infinite. I did feel like we were fucked. I did feel like humanity was fucked. I don't even know how we got to Earth. How did we get to Earth at the end? I thought we were, like, stranded on this metal planet. Or were we, like, leaving? Like, were there... I guess halfway through the game, we're like, we're leaving. I'm like, why didn't we do that initially?
Does Infinity get destroyed? I don't remember.
At the end of the game, does the Infinity get destroyed? I don't remember.
I don't think
genuinely
so. I think they literally
remember.
Just picked them up and were like, all right.
No, I don't think the Infinity gets destroyed, because I think we're on the Infinity in Infinite?
The ending cutscene. Oh.
But I also think we're on the Infinity in Infinite, too. I think that's the ship that explodes in the beginning.
I don't know. This is bringing me to something...
It's kind of the same game. Oh, no, I'm just saying it's kind of like the same game. Halo 3 ends on the what is it? No. Does let me think. Halo 3 ends on the Forward Unto Dawn? Is that true?
I think so.
Okay. Halo 3 ends and you're on the Forward Unto Dawn, and then Chief is like, well, I guess I'm gonna go to sleep. And then Halo 4 starts with you on the Forward Unto Dawn, and there's like a big, all this shit happening, and then you crash land onto a planet. And then Halo Infinite starts with you on the Infinity, and then there's like a big explosion, and we all crash onto the ring. So it's like, did we just do the same plot twice? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I don't know. But I didn't actually think about this until we started talking about ships exploding.
Okay.
You remember in this podcast we have a rank of the set pieces.
Oh.
I think it's time for that for Halo 4. So start thinking because I got nothing. But
dude,
here I'll go from worst to best this time. Which okay, this is kind of what were we on? Okay, I'm looking at the list right now.
Yes, look at the list.
Okay. Number 4, the Flood reveal from Halo 1.
We put the Flood reveal at number 4?
That's what I don't... The rest of these better be pretty good.
Oh,
okay? Number 3, the first orbital drop in ODST.
Okay.
I would put that above the Flood.
Okay.
Halo 2 is number 2 with the Gravemind abduction.
Okay, yeah, that is a pivotal point in the game.
And it is really cool.
It is really cool, yes.
And then Halo 3, Escaping the Ark, which is the Warthog
Yes,
run.
Warthog run, yes. Well, I'll it's not being the Warthog run, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so frankly, pretty good list.
Basically, I think we have 2 paths of debate for best set piece. We either go with the ending, maybe the sequence where you're driving the plane and you're just, we're just ripping off the Death Star offense from Star Wars.
I'm not feeling it.
How about with a mission when we're on the research station and we're trying to get to the composer, but then like the didact gets there and he's like scanning the ship and you're like running through the ship and it's like shaking and there's explosions. You see like the orange like scanner like phase through the ship, and then like that whole mission that he steals the composer and then he melts everyone.
I'm raising you the really long first mission where the Forward Unto Dawn crashes and then you try to make your way out of the wreckage.
I literally don't remember that much of that mission at all.
It's just like a big... You crash, there's a big explosion, it all cuts to black, and then you wake up and you're like in a big shrapnel-filled war zone, and you got to just find your way out.
And that's where we first fight the Prometheans, and then we have and then we have the ghost chase.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ugh. All right, let me raise you another one. The ending cutscene where Cortana's like, "I put us into cyberspace."
No, absolutely not.
When you blew up the nuke. When you blew up the nuke.
It didn't make any sense.
And I split myself into a bunch of copies. And I tied the didact into his light bridge. And you punched him really hard and he fell off. Even though the didact floats, he could not, and he fell into his swirling bowl of soup. And then we set off a nuke.
You mean the QuickTime event final boss? No.
The one that I didn't even get to play because you did
That's it. So fucked up.
It wasn't even a QuickTime event. It was just like hit the grenade button.
Okay.
And then I think you had to like hit W.
You had to walk. Yeah, you had to walk forward a little bit. And I feel like it was happening even though I wasn't really hitting the button. What about the mission? Okay, this might be the one I'm actually going to pull for. The mission where the bowling ball is floating there and you have like the entire UNSC military firing upon it and you have to take out the big cannons.
That one's all right.
And then it flies away.
I just feel like it doesn't really have any story significance. You know what I mean?
It doesn't. But it felt cool.
I think my bet for best set piece, I think the most impactful. Did you not feel very impacted by the research based mission? You weren't like, oh shit.
No, but it did have more story things going on than the first mission, so I could relent and use that.
There's not good there's not exciting parts. They're very short.
And there's
And
the
they're
big,
just like
beginning part where you're on the warthog trying to get to the big metal orb.
right.
That's cool. But then you get there and then you just fight. There's no, like
Yeah.
nothing happens. All right. I'll put up the research based mission because I mean it does have the thing where the what's her name? What's the scientist's name?
Tilly.
Yes, she's like, you don't understand. We need like the biggest ship in the universe to carry that thing. And then 10 seconds later, the Didact just picks it up. She goes, "Gimme,
Yes.
thanks you."
Yeah. Because he's like, right. Yeah. She's like, you're not gonna get rid of it. And she was like, yeah, I am. And she's like, no, no, no. You don't understand. You can't. It's huge. Yeah, because then they're gonna blow it up. He plans on just blowing up the ship, and then he just steals it, and then he just blows it up anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, that was a cool moment because she's like, you don't understand how big this is. You don't understand how powerful it is. We have all this time invested in it. And then in like literally 5 seconds, that all gets taken away when the Didact steals it, and then immediately starts eviscerating like South America.
Yeah, yeah. And I do think that scene of the Didact just like absolutely vaporizing everyone is a very like
Oh yeah, when it does like the Indiana Jones face melter scene.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That's the research base. I think is definitely the set piece moment.
Yeah, I think so. It just felt like it had the most stakes. I feel like it probably the best level design, because it is a lot of it is pretty linear, kind of like more of the linear levels. But then you do get those big arenas where you get to get in the Mantis and fight like large groups of enemies. I just feel like it had the gameplay elements that are fun. You're able to use the actually good new inclusion of the vehicle, which was the Mantis, the only new thing that we really got. And it is very good. I think we all love the Mantis. So I think it has the gameplay. I think it has like the story stakes, and I think it has a memorable. Like I think it has several memorable moments. So I think we should. Yeah, I think the research base is where we should go with that.
Footnote: I didn't really like the Mantis.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, so that's number 5 then. It's not better than the Flood. So it's bottom of the list.
Ah, man. You don't think so? You don't even think there's a debate to be had?
No. I mean, even after years of having, did you know that there's a scary level in Halo shoved down my throat? The Flood reveal still hit and was still impactful.
Yeah. All right. That's true. All right. We can go with that. Number 5, L. Sorry, Halo 4.
Sorry, Halo 4. I'm sorry we ragged on it for an hour. I did like it. I know you didn't like it that much. I had a good time. I would play it again.
mean, I liked it enough to play it for 5 times, but this is the first time I played it, and I was like, oh shit, what? You know what it is? I think it's because sometimes when I play games with other people or I watch a movie with I can watch like a movie that I love, and then I watch it with someone else, and I'm thinking about how they receive the messages, and I perceive the content in a much more objective way. So I think playing it with someone else and I knew that you were watching the same thing I watched, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, there's some really bizarre choices that I don't think work anymore, you know? Like, there's just something about it. I don't know.
Thank God the Banshee Bomb is just a weapon switch.
Real.
That's where I'll leave this.
Yeah. Instead of hitting, like, every button on your keyboard.
Yeah.
And it usually was Q.
I think Halo 4 is definitely worth playing, but I would never recommend it to be someone's first Halo, and I would never recommend them play it before any of the ones that came before it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you've played all those ones,
yeah,
this one's a good time.
There's no reason not to play it.
It's not
like it is an enjoyable game, and if you're getting the Master Chief Collection, it's like it's there. You own it. Just play it once and then see how you feel. It's not long. It's just there is a lot of things to complain about because there's just bizarre decisions that were made.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't agree more.
You can't feel bad. Like, oh, I feel bad, so I'm not gonna criticize the thing. It's like,
The only thing that makes me feel bad is because I did have a really good time playing it. If this was the only Halo game, it would be like one of my favorite first-person shooters, probably. But the fact is, there's 5 others that came before this that I liked more.
Mm-hmm. And we got 2 more to go through. And I do think it's going to be much more of this.
Yeah, so do we even have to talk about it? Is Halo 4 going to be last on our list now in terms of the games?
Yes.
All right, so we're looking at Halo 3, number 1, ODST, number 2, Combat Evolved, number 3, Halo 2, number 4, and Halo 4, number 5.
Yes.
Reach notwithstanding, again, we'll get back to it.
Yes, maybe we'll do Reach last. I think, maybe we'll do Reach last because it's kind of an important game for both of us. So we can kind of put everything to bed with Reach. Go out at a high note.
All right, well, thank you for watching this show. I hope you stick around because it's been a year, but we're probably going to get the next one out pretty soon because I already have Halo 5 downloaded and I'm excited to play it.
Me too. Yes, we all have it ready. We all have it ready. Now that the end is in sight, I think it's going to be easier.
Yep. So play Halo 5 along with us. First chance you get, so you're ready for the next episode. And that's about it. We don't really have another regular podcast planned right now. We'll be serving one up soon. Don't you worry. But other than that, it's been a Halo Minicast. Another one for the books.
Love that.
Yep. All right. Jonathan, what do you got for the people?
When you're cooking with oil, use gloves. This entire episode, my hand has been in immense pain because I cooked up some tacos earlier, and I had my pan all oiled up, and I was dropping a pound of ground beef onto the pan. It accidentally slipped from the container, landed in the boiling oil onto my hand, and my hand hurts so bad still. I was complaining about this before we started recording, and it still hurts so bad.
Go fill a Tupperware with ice water and just let your hands sit in it all night.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So that's what I got. Play Halo 5 and then wear gloves.
Yep. All right. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye bye.